Alright. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We got Rogue at the bottom left side of the map, Classic in the top left, and it is, of course, a PvZ for the ages. It's only the round of 16 here in the Wardy Mondays Cup, and despite that, these two are already facing off in a best of 3. Classic, the best defensive Protoss these days, and Rogue, a guy who, I mean, he used to be, so frightening in this matchup. The crazy Ling Floods, the drone drills, the insane all-ins, the cheeky muta builds, the skipping on the basic army of roaches and whatnot to surprise you with 20 mutalisks at once. I mean, he just has so many tricks up his sleeve, but ZVP's been a problem for him with the limited options that he's felt were viable for Zerg in the last year or so since he came back from the military, and it's been kind of a bummer because I feel like that aura of Rogue as this unbeatable beast in this matchup has disappeared. I am wondering if he can find a new purchase on ZVP in this patch with the Storm being a bit reduced. I did message him a week ago, actually, before this was played, and I said, hey, I was messaging a bunch of different players, said, hey, how's ZVP for you going after the patch? He said, Mutalisks are better now, and second part is better. Smiley face. Now, my interpretation of that is he means the second part of the game, the late game, is better for Zerg, probably due to Storm doing a bit less damage and Broodlords shooting their first shots out a bit quicker, which is quite big, combined with, of course, just those Mutalisks coming out of the Spire 5 seconds faster, Spire build time, save 50 minerals and 50 gas on the Spire, so those Mutalisk swaps can be really effective. But we should probably talk about this, guys, because we're seeing not only a 3 hatchery before pool, greedy build for Rogue, but Classic is answering it by going Cybercore second pylon and then immediately into a Nexus on the third base. So he's going to try and defend potential Ling Flood action with just Oracles, Adepts, and an exposed third, while slowly clearing up this hatchery on his own. So now Rogue doesn't know about this yet. I don't think you want to let this hatchery... Actually, no, of course, yeah, you can let the hatchery finish. You can build Zerglings and Queens out of here, actually. You could even drill a drone through and start building a spine crawler here. But he hasn't seen that. If he saw it and sent 2 drones across right now, drills in to try to build spines, that could actually work, because that would force Classic to full wall to stop the drones, which means you can isolate the third. Not something Classic's going to want to do as he goes for a Stargate. Wisely builds the Stargate in the wall off. I think Classic realizes how jeopardized this position could be. Now, of course, Rogue could just macro. So you have to send this Adept out. You have to go put on some counter pressure, see what's happening. Focuses one of the lava down. Nice. And it's going to be continued probe production. A third pylon comes up because this Nexus is a little bit late, but it's only going to be the most minor of supply blocks, if at all, as already Lings are coming out. 12 Lings on the way. Okay, he's doing it. He's building Lings from home and in his opponent's base. Rogue is going all out, guys. The Adept's going to come in, see a few Zerglings, and good micro for Classic so far with a bit of stutter step. There are already Lings I can see spawning in his base, so he better get his attention out of here. 3 Ling kills already is really nice. Oh, sorry, 2 Lings and a lava. One of those was a lava, wasn't it? More Lings popping out. The Adept's already dealt with one of those. The probe micro has been really good here to deal with these Zerglings as well. Another one of those Zerglings goes down. Back on the other side, though, Shield Battery tries to go up in the third. It's getting focused down by these 4 Zerglings. The Adept in the middle of the map starts to kite backwards. He's got 5 kills, 4 Zergling kills so far. Shield Battery on the third's going to go down. That means those probes are toasted. Classic tries to run them, but too late. One of them's already dead. The other one deep in the red. Third Adept does pop out here, but is this enough? This is pure chaos. Terrible time to have to sneeze in the middle of that, but I managed to find my mute button. We've got an Adept in the wall off. It's going to get taken out by the looks of it. And that probe, oh, pylon battery wall off, very nice. And this all is going to buy time for the Oracle. You've got an Oracle, you've got 2 Adepts. I think Classic may have made it past the scariest part. That being said, Rogue is not stopping. 15 Zerglings out, 18 more on the way. He's going to target the Stargate with some Zerglings. Goes in from the right side with the other. And that is excellent. I mean, that is really, really good. One probe does escape out the left. I don't know what the heck that probe is going off to do. The Oracle does get energy recharge. It's got a lot of energy available. That battery is going to have to heal this Stargate. He wanted the Stargate, but the battery can now heal it, and that is really vital because Oracle production is what it's all about when you're dealing with the Ling Flood. Turns off his laser, though, which means, of course, the Lings go back in, immediately has to turn it back on. Rogue fighting underneath the Oracle. I'm not sure if this is a wise decision. Oracles, when they can just stand there and shoot, they do so much damage. They attack so fast, and that's 20 Zergling kills on one, 3 on the other, and a third Oracle building. So far, so good, the hold for Classic, but of course, things can crumble ever so quickly. That Stargate in the wall-off still only has a total of 500 hit points and a lot of surface area. I think that Stargate maybe is where Rogue should be focusing his efforts rather than his third base, especially since the Oracles are out of energy. Energy recharge comes back in, which means there's another Oracle able to fire once again. And that's 28 probes to 22 drones. Rogue miles behind. I think Rogue may have overcommitted at this point. With a third Oracle coming out, I think there's no opening. And he needed to start droning a minute ago, maybe 30 seconds ago. Oh, he might have been able to transition and be in a good spot just because Classic would have had to be so defensive. But now he's forced to start droning, building spores because he knows he'll just die to a counterattack if he doesn't. And desperately try to recover in a game where he is so very far behind. That Stargate we're talking about being so isolated out front finally takes care of it. But guess what? There's already 3 Oracles out. So even taking care of that is it's not the everything you'd hope it to be. There's a battery, an adept, and an Oracle there on the third. Third base starts up in the natural as well. This is excellent. Excellent hold for Classic. Good crisis management. I mean, it's very scrambly. Shout out to that adept that got 4 Zergling kills, retreating all the way across the map while defending the main with probes, while also microing his Zealot. I mean, the Zealot did, I think, get surrounded by Broodlings and killed, to be fair, but that might be the only mistake in this early game for Classic of any major significance. I'm sure maybe you could have microed units slightly better here or there, but all in all, pretty good. And this is that probe that escaped to the left earlier. Classic finds him, sends him back to mining. With the Twilight Council and 2 more gateways, he is well on his path to the next step. There's only 4 queens in this map, guys. He does have a spore coming up in each base. They're not ready just yet, though. And he's going to dive straight past Classic. Wow, balls of steel. Only 2 drones to start. These drones need to pull away as well. Ooh. Oh, 5 drones for an Oracle. Does take a fair bit of damage on that one. Might have taken 2 more queen hits if that queen didn't stop to inject, but Rogue desperate to get his income going. Oh, he's up against Glaives. Okay, so this is 5. Yeah, 5 gate Glaive adapt on 2 gases right now. There's a pretty big delay on these gases, which the Overlord can see, but I mean, your timing sense is all thrown off at this stage, so it's really hard to figure things out. Now, Rogue is going for an Evo, and if there's one thing we know about Rogue is that he's addicted to +1 melee in this matchup. There was a series he had against Zaun, right? And Classic, both of these guys in the last 6 months, where I remember at the start of the series saying, well, Rogue's going to open up a lot of melee, and if you open Glaives, you can punish him, scare him, and he might have to play safe for the rest of the series. But knowing Rogue, he might just keep trying to go +1 melee and skip roaches every single game, because he doesn't like building roaches. He likes to skip them, you know? And yeah, once again, melee, he's got a roach horn on the way, but he needs to just build nothing but roaches when that roach horn's on. If he does that, I think he might be able to hold okay. But of course, he's building Zerglings. He's not saving lava, he's building Zerglings. The Adepts are moving out, but look at the way Classic's moving out with just a few Adepts and Oracles, trying to clear the vision. Rogue needs to see this. He's just built 20 more Lings, not the unit he needs right now. Especially with +1 melee nowhere near finished. If you've got it finished and you surround with like 50 Zerglings, you can wreck this with +1 melee Zerglings and Queens, but not in this case. He's got to kill his own creep chamber to get his own wall off up. Oracles take a fair bit of damage from the Queens. The Lings think about engaging and realize, nope, this is a terrible fight. There's too many Adepts, man. Adepts are really good against Lings. He's just going to move in, focus the Evo chamber, smashes the door open, cancels the shade, and moves right on in. Another stasis trap going down. These Oracles being an absolute nuisance. Forces him back with the Lings. The Roaches are getting on top a little bit, but dude, already down 5 workers behind this Blink Immortals. And oh my gosh, he's warping in more Adepts. He's just done another Adept warp in at home. Oh my gosh, he's going to continue. Classic's like, dude, you're not prepared for this at all. The Adepts are doing great damage, right? 12 drones. The Oracles are flying around. He's still got a full energy Oracle here that could add some more spells potentially. 1 Oracle flies into the Spore, which is unfortunate. It does almost go down. And these Adepts are finally, it looks like, about to go down, but it's just taken so long. And even then, just 3 Adepts into this mineral line could kill like 5-6 workers easily. Forces the entire line to evacuate. Bring it up to 19 total drones, which means main base not mining, third not mining right now. The amount of mining time lost is absolutely monumental. And there's more Adepts coming across the map behind us, believe it or not. 10 more Adepts? What? Dude, he's a mad lad. He just kept going. He just kept rallying Adepts. He's making 5 more. What? Okay, I think Classic's just bullying right now. What the hell, dude? Rogue is going to go all in. He's making a Dropalord. He's going to try and go all in. These Roaches should have split up a bit. I think there's a few too many Roaches maybe to send up here. But, I mean, the Adepts killed one of them, so you can see why He did split these up, and here we go. These Adepts are going to come in. The Roachling Ravager should do okay against this. Drones, though. Oh, man, these Adepts, good micro by Classic, and it's hard to stay on top of this. They're going to do a fair bit of damage. Already more drones going down, and he can see just how few workers there are, which tells him this isn't all in. He should be prepared at home. He's building a 4th base. Classic, miles ahead, mauling the economy of poor Rogue. Shades into the main base here as well. 9 more workers. 63 to 33, guys. This is, economically speaking, we have a featherweight up against a heavyweight right now. Rogue is going to have to do some crazy stuff, man. He needs to fly through the air, defy gravity, and somehow punch Classic in the throat 6 times in quick succession, somehow, you know, instantly killing him. Roach Ravager Ling is here. He's got a Queen Drop-a-Lord. Can he somehow bust through? He's only up 20 army supply. The Oracle will go down to the Queens very quickly, so that is one thing going there for him. Storm is not quite ready. There is a small window here without Storm. The Roaches and Ravagers going to run forward. He's got to get rid of those Immortals. They just do too much damage. The Lings are getting on top a little bit. The batteries aren't actually in range. Classic messing up his micro, leaving his Immortals in the open. He's warping in more Adepts, which while they're good against Zerglings, they're not that good against the Roach Ravager. Finally, the Immortal starts getting the battery healing and the Storms come down, and it looks like that should be enough. Rogue cannot keep contesting that, and Classic takes game 1. All right, going on to Maganatha. Classic with a fantastic hold in game 1. I'm happy, though, to see Rogue doing all-ins. You know, I've always felt like part of what made Rogue so good in this matchup over the years was he would just pull out these disgusting all-ins. And it's weird because it's been now, what, I don't know, 2 years, a year and a half since Rogue came back from the military. And it's been so long since I talked about the famous, hey, it's Rogue, guys. Rogue doesn't let Protoss players play StarCraft. He makes his opponents look bad. You know, I miss that Rogue. I want to see him back at it again. And that build was very close to making the best defensive Protoss player in the world right now look like he was just getting bopped in the first few minutes. But Classic held on, fought back, did really well. And Rogue, I know he loves the +1 melee builds. I wonder if that's too much of a habit. We might see Classic throw more of those Glaive Adept timings out. Because I remember these guys playing a few months ago, and it was kind of the same thing. I was like, Rogue goes +1 melee a lot, and skips his Roach Horn or delays it a lot in this matchup. There's like an obvious counter to him, which is Glaive Adepts. You want to mix that in at least 1 in 3 games, just to keep Rogue on his toes and punish him. Make him not feel as comfortable being that greedy. Making him want to build a safe Roach Horn. You know, build a few less drones, build a few more safety units. And I think Classic, with that Adept timing in game 1, even after the chaotic early game, may have put that fear into Rogue. Of course, Mutalisks are meant to be better. I'd love to see Rogue pull out the Spire. Could also be very effective. For those wondering, by the way, this is, I believe, a Wardy... I think this is Wardy Mondays this set is from. This is like only the round of 16 or something, guys. So it's a very early run-in. Probes rotating around. We've got the Gateway and the Cybercore coming up. Second pylon in the main. Textbook opening. Probe harassment. And this wasn't an early probe. You guys know it's not my favorite, the Gate Scout, but you can see that Rogue isn't really pulling the drones on and off mining. He's just leaving a drone chasing the probe, which is kind of the least efficient way of dealing with this. Rogue, I think, is prioritizing his own calmness over optimizing a few minerals here or there. He's like, look, it's stressful pulling drones on and off. I'd rather make sure I hit my build perfectly. On the other regards, lose a few more minerals by just chasing the probe, make my life easy. And sometimes even the best players in the world do that, right? They just prioritize calming the game down and simplifying a situation, realizing that you having the right mental state is often more important in StarCraft than tiny optimizations, right? Tiny optimizations do stack up over time. Oh, I like the way Rogue's 3rd and 4th Zergling were a little delayed, so it made Classic think there was only 2 Zerglings, in which case that pylon would not have been able to be taken out, and then his Adept could have blocked the 3rd hatchery from going down. But as it is, Rogue cancels that pylon, gets his 3rd hatch down. His 3rd Queen had already started, and he's got an Overlord as well. So 3rd Queen, Overlord, then the 3rd hatchery has become very common in this matchup. Then you build all your extra drones, you build an extra Overlord on 36, and continue droning from there. Very solid way of playing as the Adept Shade starts scouting. Oracle's on the way. It gets its first Chrono Boost there. Usually you'll go for a pylon after starting the Oracle, which has already gone down for Classic. 2nd gate, and then, of course, towards that 3rd Nexus. Classic's going to shade forwards. Oh, is he going to let that finish? He is. Okay, already 1 drone. Can he get a 2nd? Oh, okay, good pull away by Rogue. If Rogue doesn't lose any more than 1 drone, he should be happy, but oh, he's going to lose 2, 3, ouch. Oh, can he get a 4th one? Nope, the Adept does hit the spawning pool there. Shouldn't get 1 more. Oh, he's going to get 1 more. 4 drones. Oh, that hurts. Okay, great starting Adepts there. Oracle goes in to follow it up as well. There's no Spore. 3 drones go down. Super worth it. Yes, it's a lot of hit points off the Oracle, but 7 drones this early. Rogue takes a bit of a walloping at the start of the game. 3rd base isn't crazy fast for Classic, but he's got a 2nd Oracle there to defend it. These Lings won't be able to do anything other than waste a bit of Oracle energy. And pretty good Oracle micro. Oh, very good, actually. Gets 4 Zergling kills. Really nice. Forge and Twilight are coming up. We've got another Oracle building. Is that 3 then? Yeah, 3 Oracles. Forge, Twilight, 3rd and 4th gas. How quickly can he get his Twilight started? That was 11 seconds ago, 4:20. Okay, so it's not quite the Zaun timing where he gets it started at like 3:55, 4 minutes. Hits you with an insanely fast blink pressure. But it's kind of in between that and the very conservative like 4:45, 4:50 Twilight Council you sometimes see from guys who are putting every chrono into probes and just focusing on their economy and their triple Oracle harass and nothing else. Hatchery gets down. It's fortunate. Otherwise, Classic's Oracle could have killed that drone. Got 2 Oracles on the left, 1 on the right. Queen's well positioned on the right side. Oh, Classic! No! Oh, we'd queued up a stasis trap. Loses an Oracle. That's unfortunate. The guys on the left only able to get 2 as well, and one of them's deep in the red now, but he goes back for more, grabs 2 more. 3? Oh, okay, 3 more. Okay, he makes it kind of worth it there. And now there's 5 Adepts as well. Classic. He's way ahead in this series, and he's just leaning on Rogue right now. Rogue needs cleaner openings, man. Oh, the Oracle's going to have to pull back as well. All right, well, at least those Adepts did have to recall home. I think that's the one advantage. One of them did go down only. I mean, good for Classic to save them, but at least Rogue was able to defend that. And most importantly, very fast 4th base, +1 melee build, not getting punished by Glaive Adepts. This is an example of what I said. Rogue does +1 melee too often, and it's actually his biggest predictability factor in this matchup, is it feels like Rogue has something in his head where he's like, if I don't have +1 melee Zerglings and I'm building Roaches, like, I feel bad in the matchup. And this is something, I mean, you can go back years and trace this logical thought process in Rogue's head. Rogue has always had the thought process that Roaches are bad units, and you can build them if you want to do an all-in or if you want to defend an all-in. And otherwise, you will do everything you can to avoid building Roaches, because they don't scale well into the late game, whereas +1 melee Zerglings, always useful, right? Run by units, really good later on as you get Adrenal Glands, and just Zerglings are always going to be cheap, fast, efficient units, and very supply efficient as well. Interestingly, I think he knows how much damage he took, so Rogue's going to go straight to Hive. Looks like he's just going to play like a Ling Hydra Lurker style, which is pretty damn streamlined and very smart here. He's going to be up against like Storm and Blink, which is kind of cool. Interestingly, with the reduced cast range, you cannot Storm a Lurker without the Lurker shooting at you. Because Lurker attacks are kind of slowish though, you can still just dodge those Lurker attacks. And now the Storm does 110 damage rather than just 80. So you actually do a lot more damage if they don't move their Lurkers out of the Storm. So you can actually use 2 consecutive Storms to kill Lurkers, which used to be 3, which just felt like so much. And it's a pretty big difference, 3 to 2, you know? Anyways, Hive and 2nd Evo Chamber on the way in that Lurker Den, as expected. For Protoss, I mean, Classic's building some Cannon Battery. He's making Stalkers, he's making Storm. He might expect Hydra Bane. He's seen the Evo, he's seen only Zerglings, no Roaches. I would expect Hydra Bane. And he might be in those same shoes, where if the Hydra Link can kind of run around at the front and just act scary, Classic might delay going Tempest, which he desperately needs, because look, Hive's already halfway done. Lurker Den will immediately be going for upgrades when it's finished, and he's got to go for the... I mean, he could go double Robo and play Immortals. That does work against Lurkers as well. Immortals do shoot through the Lurkers as long as you can flank them. But usually, yeah. 2nd Stargate Fleet Picking. Okay, there we go. 2nd Stargate Fleet Picking does come in. Hydra Link still roaming the map. Creep spread's pretty darn good as well for Rogue as he takes a 5th base. Interestingly here, rather than out there, I guess he wants it towards the Protoss because he feels dominant on the map. Doesn't want like Zealot run-bys to be out in the corner away from where his army is, which there is a logic to that. Now he's going to go Seismic Spine straight away. Perfect. And if we think about this, I mean, honestly, I think Rogue should have a pretty stiff Lurker time. If he can get over here, his best path, though, is actually this base down here. This one has too many cannons. Or, even better, get in between. If he can get his Lurkers here and breach the natural and get in towards the production, that'd be good. Problem, if you're doing that, you're very easily flanked from 3 different sides. So he's got to go soon, though, because the fleet beacon's done. 2 Tempests could start any moment now. Classic has not started the Tempest. Oh, he's going carriers. Oh, my lord. Okay, I did not expect carriers, guys. He started one. He didn't quite have the gas for the second one when he first clicked it. There we go. Does start up now. No +1 air weapons, though. I always feel like +1 air is a prerequisite to really going into carriers. I'm sure he'll start it in the near future. Lurkerling Hydra coming forwards. He's going to try and break these rocks to attack the north side. Oh, Stasis Trap. Really good to help slow things down. This Lurker, though, doesn't have vision of the cannon. He's going to start trying to attack from there. Moves 2 Hydras to their death. A little sloppy. Oh, and already losing a Lurker. Another Lurker's going to get blinked on. Dude, Classic with a very brave move forward, just disrespecting this Hydraling Lurker army. Rogue trying to set up this siege, but these cannons, these storms, will be able to buy a lot of time. And you can see those storms I was talking about. Oh, and he's even going to run forward. So he not only storms, but he runs forward as well. So if you try to unburrow, well, you can't because the army's on top of you. But that means if you sit in the ground, you're going to eat the entire storm. So it's kind of a cool the way Classic's moving in and out. That being said, he is losing a fair few units of his own. He's at 2 to 1 of the units lost, though, and you can see how weak those Lurkers are now. Very nicely played by Classic. Comes forward, misses the Revelation. But that Lurker there was in vision, and he can shoot it across the cliff. There we go. Another Revelation does go down. That Lurker will go down pretty damn quickly. But these High Templar, 2 of them are full on juice. The other 2 getting mighty low. Zealots go across for a counterattack. Mass Hydraling's going to catch it. And they are going to have to recall. But 2-3 Zealots of the Zealots go down before the recall completes. Archon's continuing to catch individual Lurkers. I've got to criticize Rogue here a little bit. It's cool the way he's setting up an arc, but Classic's disrespecting it. Rogue has not done enough to punish Classic every time he moves out into the open. That being said, the Ling's trying to go by on the left. The Stasis Traps are gone. There's only a few Tempests. What other range damage is there here to really deal with the Hydras? He's got Storm. Ooh, a high energy High Templar goes down. The Oracles are almost completely out of juice. One of those goes down. The Oracles are about to die. The Zealots try to run forward, but there's Lurkers backing it up as well as the Ling rally. The Hydras clean up all of those Zealots. More Lurkers coming forward. There's no High Templar left. It's just 4 Tempests. 4 Tempests and 83 probes. I mean, if Classic can defend this, he might be okay, but that is a big if right now. The Tempest is taking them 3 shots to kill our Hydra, and whilst they are eventually going to kill all of them, the Zealots barely able to defend that natural from the big Ling Flood. All the workers are off this 4th base over on the left side, or 3rd base, I believe it is, actually. The Tempest's microing really well, though. They're going to do great against these Hydras, but he's got to get on top and clean this up, because there's a rally, a reinforce. Rogue has a lot of money as well, 86 workers. Rogue does have a Spire finished. He should probably be swapping into Corruptor production just to deal with these Tempests. And one has to ask as well, is Rogue overstaying? Because Rogue might be staying too long, definitely stayed in that storm too long. But he's got to be really cautious, because as this goes on, the Tempests are going to get more and more efficient. Just picking off Hydra, pull back, pick off a Hydra, pull back. And unless you're actually killing a Nexus or something vital, this might not be good enough for the Zerg player, especially with Mothership coming forward, activating the cloak. Her range has been fixed this patch, by the way, something no one's really talked about. There was a bug where I think she was attacking effectively with like 1 less range than she used to, and she would like randomly target workers and overlords and non-combat units, rather than targeting the actual fighting units, which made her really awkward when she was fighting in an enemy base. But she's actually a bit more effective now, so the Mothership's nice and effective. She is slower, though. Her movement speed's slower. Oh my god, the probes. Oh my gosh, they're in the open. Oh my gosh, Classic, you gotta keep him in the pocket, mate. Okay, 18 workers going down at the tail end. Also, oh, what just happened over here? This Lurker ran in and got 22 probes. Okay, I will rewind to catch that Lurker, because that natural is empty now. There's only 4 probes. This base is still mining. You've still got 4 bases up as Classic. This is technically recoverable with the power of Archons, but he's going carriers right now, and I got to criticize it. Looks like he cancelled his first 2 carriers to build Tempest, which was the smarter unit, but he's gone back into carriers now with no air upgrades, which is a disastrous decision. At this point, you're overcommitted to air. You need to hard pivot into Archon, Storm, and Immortals, and hope there's not enough Lurkers on the ground, because you know Rogue's going to build Corruptors. I think Classic is making a big misplay by making carriers right now, guys. Number 1, because carriers just generally bit dodgy against Corruptors, but especially when you're already in a position where you've kind of got a composition that forces Corruptors out of your opponent. I think that's when carriers are especially weak. Whereas if your opponent's maxed on Hydra, Lurker, Viper or something, it can be a different story. Two Lings are going to get inside. The Immortal will clean that up. Now, don't get me wrong. Rogue has got 86 workers. Don't get me wrong is the catchphrase of today. I've just heard myself, guys. I'm like, how many times did you just say that? Nidus Worm for Rogue. Okay, so he's got a center of the map Nidus, still in this forward position, still wants to deal the sort of overwhelming blow to Classic. 16 lurkers. But got a lot of damage with it, man. 48 zealots, 6 high Templar, 2 Archons, and of course all those cannons and buildings. 7 cannons and a battery have already gone down. Air weapons and plasma shields are finally on the way. Classic wants these carriers, but I got to ask where the Archon count is. They're very important to try and damage these Corruptors as they fly over top, especially with Storm damage now being a little bit reduced. There's also the question I've been having, which is, because Storm lasts longer, if your Corruptors just fly on top of the Protoss army, you parasitic bomb the carrier, fly on top of it, and he storms you as well. Like, the Storm and Parasitic Bomb in combination was always pretty good at killing Interceptors. It might be even better at killing it now that it's a bigger radius and longer duration. So carriers might end up just having all of their Interceptors popped in the first 10 seconds of a battle and then just be floating paperweights. Tectonic destabilizers, air weapons, and plasma shields are on the way. The Nidus one in the back. Has it not been spotted? Okay, he does warp in a few zealots. But that's it. Is 2 zealots enough? Oh, carrier pops out as well. But look at this. He takes position on the left side. Okay, getting a lurker and some hydras on that base. Storms come in. Corruptors are going to dive. Crazy dive. He does the parasitic bomb. It's the parasitic bomb and the storm that we were talking about. The Interceptors are getting popped very quickly, as are just the rest of the units. I mean, the Corruptors are just flying on top and killing everything. There are a few extra Archons at this stage, but it looks like they were busy fighting those units. And at the end of that trade, I'm not sure who the hell traded better, but keep in mind, this base is going down, and that's got to be better for Rogue. That being said, Classic still has a big scary army. There's no Corruptors being rebuilt. He's only rebuilding, what is it, Hydras, Lings, and Lurkers. Can he deal with this army with that? Well, there's no Psystorm left in it. It's just a pack of Archons, a few Tempests, a couple of Immortals, and a Mothership. Mothership Cloak has already been used, I believe. She's got Time Warp available, though. Gonna throw that on the reverse of the Immortals, but look at this 360 surround. Oh, that angle is just too good for Rogue with the Reinforce. Really good push by Rogue. Forced Classic to run towards him. Jumped on the army. Let the Corruptors trade pretty well. And with most of the air army gone, he knew he just needed to deal with that push. Great play by Rogue. I thought a few of his lurkers were going down a bit too early over here, but let's go back a little bit. Let's first of all check this friggin' lurker over here. Was this 2 minutes ago? Alright, so it's at this point, right? The hold's going on. Mama comes out, saves the day. The Hydras have to run away. But there's no detection. And he's waiting for the Observer to build, and he's trying to chase the Hydras. And these guys just cheeky. Cheeky. Alright, so he gets in range there. One of them sieges there. The probes try to run. The lurker does as well, and he's chasing them. Oh, the probes actually go for the citizen's arrest. So if he's not watching, but he is watching. Oh no! And then of course they can't see him. Oh my gosh, the probes! No, 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 no! Oh my! And then 4 more. Yeah, 22 kills. Oh my gosh! Even gets a zealot there at the end as well. Oh, that's a big mistake, man. That's really big. That was like 11 more workers. If Classic hadn't have let those lurkers run and didn't chase so far, he would have been able to recover much better. I do still think carriers are not the play. I think he's got a Tempest army up. He just needs a lot of Archons and Storms and that sort of stuff on the ground to cover it, and a few Immortals for any lurkers jumping on him. Play mostly ground with a bit of Tempest support, and that way, like, you know, if your opponent goes 20 Corruptors or something, they actually overcommit to the air. I think Classic, surprisingly, might have still had a chance in this game, and I think that was partially due to the cannon battery, the stasis. His defense in this area earlier in this game was exceptional. Despite that, Rogue does take the game, ties up the series 1-1. All right, the deciding game here in this best of 3. Classic now in the top right side of the map. Rogue in the bottom left. And is this finally where we see Mutalisks? I'd love to see it. Tokamak's a really interesting map because you've got these 3rd and 4th bases with just single paths into them. It's a very good map for just turtling and defending. I think one of the saddest things I often see on this map is like just like a Ravager Bane timing from some Zergs occasionally. Not very often at the pro level, but just on the ladder. And I always think, man, this is like, if there was a map to not do it, some sort of Baneling timing, it's the map where the Protoss always just has like 6 cannons and a bunch of High Templar waiting in front of the choke point. Like, it's just, it never does anything. It's a map where, you know, whether it's Niduses in the main or earlier timing attacks or Muta surprises, it's definitely a map I think of from the Zerg perspective as one where you want to pull out your special tactics. You don't want to just play completely straight up. Occasionally people will take a gold base early on or something like that. Just something to really get some momentum and force their opponent to play a funky game or find a way to get that game off of the most standard and straightforward path. But now Classic's gone for a Gate Scout, which is the most standard opening. He just wants to play super safe, get a bit of probe harassment on the minerals. And of course, Rogue happy to get away with his hatch gas pool. He's been doing that 15 extractor trick or 14 Extractor Trick into 15 Overlord every game. So it's good to see Rogue's openings have been really optimized. Should pull this drone back to this mineral patch. That's that little optimization I was talking about earlier, and then you pull this guy off and you intercept him, but Rogue just leaves a drone chasing it. Rogue is not bothered. This is how you know Rogue's old, guys. He's picking the easiest way to defend this rather than the best. I love it. I wish I did this, but I think I idolize like Serral too much, and I try hard at way too much, and then I like make small build mistakes. Like if I did it this way, it would actually be way better for me on the ladder. I should just do what Papa Rogue says. What he does. Classics being so annoying. Alright, Cybercore is coming up. Second gas is there as well. Interesting. Link speed started up. Nothing cheeky for Rogue. Nothing cheeky for Classics. Straight up opening so far. This might turn into an economic arms race. No chrono on the second gateway unit. First one will come over just for a little pokey poke. So third queen. It's going to be... Oh, he's forgot his Overlord has Rogue. I mean, for some reason he doesn't have a third hatchery. There we go. Builds an Overlord. Third hatchery is a bit later than it needed to be, but at least he gets it down before the Adept arrives. Does the second Adept rally across the map, I wonder? Looks like it's just sitting at home for now. Oracle has started. That Adept is patrolling out front the base. Chrono Boost should go down on this Oracle. He's just hit 50 energy. There we go. Meanwhile, the Adept there looks like he got one Zergling. Just poking the front, being annoying. Creep Tumor finally allowed to go down now that there's 3 queens out. Fourth queen building, interestingly. Rogue is potentially going to delay that Spore because he's rushed this 4th queen in the main. Very expensive to do that, but he could just defend with 2 queens on each base initially, or maybe even use some Zergling pressure to keep his opponent back. Spore Crawler goes down about 335. Definitely, it's okay to build at that timing, but it's cutting it a little fine. Third Nexus goes down at about 345. Pylon as well. Beautiful. Second Oracle's on the way. Problem with this Pylon placement, doesn't really create a choke point for the Adept. Like, that one's a bit awkward. Still a lot of surface area on it. I think up and to the right one space I prefer for the Pylon, even though it does interrupt your probe mining a little bit. It's not a big amount. It's just a very slight delay on that one mineral patch. Twilight and Forge, about 4 minutes 10. Very crisp build for Classic. Obviously, he's already got the 4 gases up as well. On the Zerg side, Rogue is back on gas. He usually puts back on gas pretty darn late. And he's going to go for a safety Roach Warren, not knowing what's going on. Good choice by him. Really good choice. Of course, Classic sees that, so any thoughts he would have had about doing Glaive Adepts, which I don't think he was thinking of, not with the early Forge, they would have been dispelled. See an early Roach Warren like that usually means the Zerg is playing safe. Now remember, it's Rogue we're talking about, so he's no stranger to just not using that Roach Warren. He doesn't like building Roaches, so even when he builds a safety Roach Warren, he tries to avoid using it. That's a good run by, though. 5. Oh, that's a juicy start. He can just leave now. Oh, he doubles. If he didn't go for that drone, he wouldn't have lost that Oracle. But he gets the 6th one with this one, so... Oh, and he's going back for more. Dude, keep it in your pants, Classic. Classic. Jeez, just flashing the audience with his Oracle excitement there. Very well done. Twilight Council is already... Sorry, Templar Archives is already almost finished. Guys, what am I looking at? Rogue's coming in, he's seeing a Templar Archives finished at 520. I would be thinking that's too early for Storm, that this is like an Archon Zealot timing. Hope Rogue doesn't fall for that, because this is in fact Storm. There's only a few gateways. And it looks like Rogue's not falling for anything. Yeah, he's going melee, second Evo. He knows. Oh, so he knows. Oh, you're going to make Storm? No worries. I'm not going to try and punish you. He should be moving out for a 4th base right now then. Because if you're going to answer with double Evo and 11 drones, you've also got to take a 4th base. And that's what he does. Look at that. 4th base, double Evo. He's going to go straight Hydroden and Baneley Nest. He does not want to play the oh, I'm going to try and kill you before Storm finishes. He knows that's impossible. This Storm is insanely fast. Cannons and batteries already going down. I don't really like Hydra Bane as a comp, but at least the Banelings are really good defensively. So I guess if Rogue keeps them just to defend any storm timings, you know, you don't need to make a lot of banelings unless your opponent moves out. Then you could just use this as a transitional force. The question is, what for? Because it is getting on. This has been a super macro-oriented game. So not having an infestation pit started by 6:30 would be a little odd. It would kind of lock Rogue into the mid game a bit more than I would have expected. He sees the attempt for a fourth. I mean, I gotta go to Rogue's camera. We have to get inside Rogue's head. Classic is just making storm, making cannons, making batteries, taking a fourth. He's playing super careful, safe, and standard, and just trying to get to the later stages. Classic has faith in winning those later stages, right? He is favored there against pretty much everyone except maybe Serral. Baneling speed has started up. Remember, Broodlords do shoot a little bit faster, so that is something which could matter later in this game. But Rogue is droning really hard, taking 5 bases, and not going Hive. And this worries me, guys, because I'm looking at this setup. He's going around, he's injecting, he's spreading creep. Like, it's a 4-base Protoss who's already building a Stargate. It's 100 supply. The second Stargate and a fleet beacon's going down at 100 supply. I mean, that's usually crazy greedy, but I guess he's building enough cannons and batteries. It's not that greedy. And Rogue's just building more drones as well. I mean, it's not terrible what Rogue's doing, but 7.5-minute infestation. That's pretty late, man. I don't know if I can. I mean, I'm curious to see what Rogue does, but I'm wondering what you're going to do with this timing. Unfortunately, the Banelings blow up on a single Adept there. But the other Adepts do go down. Just 4 drones, 4 Adepts for 4 drones. You don't care about that as Rogue. You're like, whatever, build 12 more. Don't think there's a timing here for Rogue. He's got an unnecessarily large army. 13 Hydras, 20 Zerg, and 7 Banes. Might not sound like a lot, but against a guy who's got 6 High Templar and 3 Stalkers, it actually is. Because unless you're planning to attack, most of your opponent's money is in cannons and batteries. Mass cannon going up. He is building 9 cannons right now to add to the 7 that he's already built. I do like this attack in terms of like break the rocks and hang around and be annoying. I think it's a good idea to be annoying here as Rogue. He's going to go Hive and Spire. Okay, so it's a Broodlord transition. He's got +2 melee already on the way. I'd love to see that second Evo Chamber start +2 range. And just continue these, because he has got a good pack of Hydras. Broodlords are meant to be really good now. Problem, there's carriers on the way. I guess the Spire solves that as well. Oh, a couple of Zerglings got crushed by those rocks. Youchies. 14 more drones! Okay, guys. What the heck? Is Rogue going to play Mass Spore Crawler? If so, are we going to see like Infestors, Vipers, the whole lot this game? Because this looks like he's preparing for an old school game where you just try to build spores all over the map. You build to 110 drones, then you build 20 spores. That drops you back to 90 drones. So you build another 20 drones, you build another 20 spores. You just keep doing this over and over again. And then you basically say, cool, I don't need as much anti-air because I've got so many spore crawlers. More effective against carriers than it is against Tempest. So did he actually see the carriers, I wonder? I don't think so. He did contaminate one earlier, but I'm not sure if he saw that it was actually carriers that were building. 3 Vipers on the way, as well as Greatest Spire. Adrenal Glands +1 Carapace on the way. +2 Melee is almost finished. We're swapping away from the ranged upgrades. Wanting to make the Broodlings and the Zerglings, potentially Ultras later on, all stronger. Classic trying to get this 5th base up now. He's built so much cannon battery on his 3rd and 4th. I do wonder if Nidus Worms or drops in the main could also be really good. Overlord Speed did get made this game, so I mean, just dropping 50 Zerglings in the main, focusing down the Stargates, the Fleet Beacons, would be massive. He's just going to go for a little Baneling poke. A little Baneling droppy here. Oh, he's going to distract at the front. Oh, he's going to distract at the front at the same time. He's going to click on that Nexus, but he's not quite able to get it down. Nice distraction. Classic, though, realizes, looks over, and will be able to defend the Baneling drop. Pulls the probes away, and this carrier should be able to clean it up. Got to unload. Rogue, unload, unload, unload. Okay, he does unload his Banelings, and he's going to get 3. Just 3 probes for those 4 Banelings. Not a great trade for Rogue by any means, but you know what? Classic F2'd his whole army to the right side. He wasn't watching. And he loses his 5th base. I can't believe it. I thought he'd split his army really well, but these guys, for some reason, pulled to the right side. That side's defended. It's got Storm and a billion cannons. Losing his 5th base, unfortunate. Rogue might be happy to trade a few of those Hydras out and replace them with, say, a Corrupted Broodlord. He's making a few Broodlords right now. More Lings are being built. Lings, of course, now with Adrenal and 2-1, will smash these Zealots. Even in the corner like that, the Zealots will go down eventually. So good positioning for Rogue, for Classic. Rogue should have pulled back to surround here. Yeah, it's a bit more costly than it should have been. How many Spore Crawlers are we at? 6 Spore Crawlers building, 28 up, so that's going to bring it to 34 Spore Crawlers. Now 12 more Spore Crawlers building, never mind, 13 more Spore... Okay, he's going up to about 40 Spore Crawlers. 3 Overseers are in the mix as well. They can drop Changelings for scouting. Lings going around the left side, breaking the rocks, opening this map up. Classic's 5th base. Looks like it will finally be getting established, but I think he should be looking to try and build cannon battery out here, because otherwise it's so hard to defend this. Oh, Lings are going to come in one more time. They do have Adrenal Glands. He needs to storm right on top of it. He storms the pylon, doesn't really hit most of those Zerglings, and the Nexus gets cancelled for the 3rd time. I mean, don't get me wrong, Classic's income's still good, but it's just unnecessary that this base keeps getting cancelled, and it brings back to me some of the weaknesses that Classic has in late game that Serral revealed. Over the last year, the many times they've played in late game, how many times did Classic split his army up and defend counterattacks well? I'll give you guys the answer, 0. He's never split his army up once in a late game PvZ. And don't get me wrong. Oh, look at this. Is he going to deny this base again? Look at this. Broodlords are going to come in and deny the base from the left while the Lings get in. He's going to focus the Cyber Core. To be fair, +2 air attack hadn't even started, which is crazy. Classic really late on his upgrades. I'm thinking back to him versus Serral on Pylon. No, not Pylon, Incorporeal. He kept forgetting his upgrades on that map as well, even all the way back in Dallas, where he beat Serral on that map, I believe. So Classic has a few holes in his game that have been pretty steady over the last year. He's got to fix these, right? One of them is being a bit open to counterattacks, where Rogue's really distracting him and stuff and just picking him apart. And he's going for kind of a bully style this game. He's not even playing the Tempest style. He's playing the Carrier Archon A-move style. This is the old Max Pack style, which most European pros criticize because they say, look, if this army catches you in a bad position, Protoss can just A-move you, drop some storms, and it's like a very powerful, easy-to-use army. This is like the noob-friendly late-game army. They said, look, if you use Fungal and Broodlords and Parasitic Bombs and Abducts properly, you can pick this army apart. The problem is, it's very mobile. It can just move around and take fights, and already we see like a couple hatcheries going down, a bunch of damage being dealt. And you know, it's going to be on Rogue to actually get on top of this army and defend it. He recalls the army back to the safety, moves down to take this base on the right side. He's given up on the gold base, which is a win in itself for Rogue. Oh, Rogue finds 2 carriers just sitting in the open as well. Oh, that's very sloppy. Very sloppy for Classic. Classic's got to clean his game up. I mean, Rogue, yes, he lost a hatchery. I don't think he cares too much. He's got 1 billion spores. He's denied your 5th Nexus 17 times. It's never died. The 5th Nexus. That's because it's been cancelled 17 times. Like, come on, man. Let's go. Let's go, Classic. Clean it up. Oh, now comes the Nidus Worm. He's got the double Nidus Worm. 8 Overseers as well, so he can spam Changelings in if he needs. For now, it's the Overlord that's spotting for this. Cannons and Zealots trying to be built here. Doesn't have many units in position. I think he should just send like 1 or 2 carriers, and the rest of the army should surely go to the front, but he's F2ing his whole army back, leaving that right side completely wide open, and this is that mistake I keep talking about with Classic. He pulls his whole army from one side of the map to the other, and then the other, and then the other. And it's good when he's bullying the Zerg, and then he's got the Zerg pinned. But if the Zerg's really tactical at splitting their army up, it gets kind of rough. This left side base is going to have problems now as well. The army's not too far away. The Banelings will take out a few of the cannons and the probes. The Hydraling needs to pull away. Does take out an Archon, it looks like. Oh, no, he can't quite get the Archon. Has to run away. But 8 probes go down. A lot of the cannon defense cleared, so the next attack will be more effective there. And another Nidus Worm goes up in the main. This time, Classic does respond almost instantaneously. Remember, guys, this game does decide the series. Both players banking huge amounts of money. Units lost tab is close to dead even. So this is actually a really good game for both players, but I would say especially Rogue, keeping it even with a Protoss player in the late game. The question is, does he have enough anti-air? He's only got 9 Corruptors. He's very reliant on the spores. The Hydras are going to run into the Archons and just die. Okay, maybe he wanted to throw those Hydras away anyway because they're not the best unit. He also, okay, I've noticed, oh, hold on, the Broodlord's near fire. He needs Overseers with his Broodlords, because when that Mothership Cloak is active, all of his Overseers are with the Corruptors. So when the Corruptors pull back, the Broodlords can't shoot, and that is a big problem. So you should always have an Overseer following a Broodlord, or usually 2 or 3 Overseers right-clicked on different Broodlords in order to follow them. Because now you see Classic's armies looking real scary. He's just going to punch through any isolated spores he finds, pick off this hatchery, all this sort of stuff. Viper's looking for some abducts, but look at that. Beautiful. The Interceptors spot them, and the feedback lands. Nidus Worms will be going down. Zealot's going to try and stop that one. There's nothing inside, so it doesn't really achieve anything. Lings run into the army. Archon's clean that. Zealot and the High Templar on the left side. I'm not sure why there's a High Templar there, but there is. He's going to try and clear the Spore Crawlers. Would love to see Rogue send some Zerglings to deal with that bad boy. And indeed, he has 12 Lings in production, so I imagine that's their role. 8 Infestors are now out. He's making Microbial Shroud as well as 3 air upgrades. Looks like the double Cybercore has been rebuilt for Classic, but he hasn't started +3 yet. Looks like he meant to, as he did Chrono Boost it, but it didn't actually click the upgrade, or maybe the previous one wasn't finished. Spores on the left getting cleared. This is a problem. These Spores are good if you've got Fungal with them, if you've got Army with it. But on their own, I don't know if they're really going to cut it. Zealots running on that right side. They're going to come in here as well. Rogue, dude, he's going to lose an important base. He doesn't get his drones in the Nidus Worm or anything. He tries to burrow them, but there's an observer there. He's going to lose all of his drones, not only on the left, but also on the right at the same time. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. Everything is falling apart right now for Rogue. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, you could pick apart this A-movie Protoss army with really perfect army usage. Rogue is not doing that. He's not pulling it off. He was dead even in the trading. Now he's behind 8,000. 8,000. He keeps throwing up Nidus Worms with nothing inside. What's the point? If you don't have any Lurkers or Ultras or Lings, these Niduses don't do anything. Like, you know, his army, the problem he's fallen into, and this is a very common problem with this situation. He's got no mobile army. It's 11 Broods, a pack of Corruptors, and a ton of Spellcasters, and 1 Ultra. Now he's lost a lot of workers, and he will replace those with army. So there's an argument that now his army will be a bit more competitive, but he's already lost 32 Spore Crawlers. That's a big investment, you know, thousands of minerals, many thousands of minerals. Each one's 125 minerals when you account for the drone inside it. So think of that as a solid, you know, 4 and a bit thousand minerals, maybe 4,500 minerals of Spore Crawlers that have been sniped. And it's also not just that, it's his map control. Now he doesn't have that many spores backing up his anti-air. So those 15 Corruptors have a lot of heavy lifting to do, fighting 8 carriers and 1 mothership. 8 carriers is 8 times 6, that's 48, plus 8, it's 56 supply of air units. You've only got 30 supply of air units. So even though the Corruptors counter them, when you've only got about half the supply, it's kind of like a little bit dicey. If you take a few Archon shots, a few Psystorms, those Corruptors won't get it done. Of course, Fungal, Parasitic Bomb, the Wombo combo is what Rogue will be looking for. Throw a Fungal, throw a Parasitic Bomb. On its own, that combo only does 25 damage. Ooh, another hatchery kill. So good for Classic. But what is it? 25 damage for the Fungal, 120 for the Parasitic Bomb. So it's like 145 damage per Wombo combo. Ideally, it lands where the Interceptors are flying around, so they actually get popped as well. But on its own, 145 damage just knocks the shields off the carriers. You drop another full Wombo combo. Okay, the carrier's down to half-life. So you can see it's like, that is helpful, but it's not the same impact as it has against lighter flying units like Phoenix, Void Rays, Mutalisks, Vikings, those things that almost get completely killed by a single Parasitic Bomb. Oh, I like this. Lingbane Ultra. Rogues realized that weakness I talked about at Classics. Serral's revealed it many times. Not good at splitting up his army. I mean, he does do a good recall that time, but... Oh, Ultra's running in the wrong direction. Might lose one. Does lose one. Youchies. All right. Rogue not quite maxed right now, but he does have a bigger army supply this time. And he's going to engage around a corner. A bit awkward. He takes one feedback, but he lands a nice Parasitic Bomb. And a beautiful Fungal lands on that Protoss army. Protoss army tries to pull back. Another Fungal does land. The Broodlords, unfortunately, they don't have an Overseer with them, which means the Cloak is really hurting. Luckily, they're still able to fire for most of that time. The Corruptors are finally going to go in. Another Parasitic Bomb has landed. And another Fungal. He just keeps chaining the Fungal Parasitic Bombs. The air unit's getting hammered. I don't think he has enough Corruptors to finish it off, but he's smashed the ground army. And oh, wait, there's more Corruptors north, just off our screen. He does have enough Corruptors. He's going to pull back, though, because he sees the Stalker warp in. He doesn't want to throw any units away. He's going to wait to rebuild his own Ultras to crush the ground army. And that could be really good, especially if he uses Microbial Shroud with those. Ultras are really not bad against Immortals. And Immortals are meant to be the hard counter. So if you can fight in Microbial Shroud, that could be absolutely game-changing. Rogue was down 8,000, maybe... I think he might have been up to 9 or 10,000. As I hadn't checked in on it in a while, and it felt like he kept losing hatcheries. Now... it's only about a 1,500 resource lead in the units lost for Classic, which is, I mean, there's a swing, right? So we saw like a 9,000 resource swing in Classic's favor. Now we've seen it swing back about 7,500 in Rogue's favor in that last fight. I mean, these fights, man, it really matters how that spellcasting goes on. And Classic is trying to pull back, trying to rebuild. He's going to lose this right side. Cannons struggle against this stuff. You really need Psystorm to clear the Zerglings and maybe like a few Archons or something to tank, but a lot of probes going down, and oh, he's not gonna escape. Okay, a few of the probes trying to get out of there, but the Lings are on top of them. and that really hurts. Yauchi's 20 probes go down and a Nexus. Of course, Classic's going to answer with his own attack. He's making a Sentry, which I actually love to see. You might be thinking, what's the Sentry for? Guardian Shield, guys. That spell everyone forgets to use in late game. Makes a pretty big difference against pretty much everything. I think even Broodlords, right? It should reduce the Broodlord's strike damage by 2, the Corruptor strike damage by 2. There's no Hydras or Queens or anything, but still, I mean, it's a single 2-supply unit giving that +2 armor to your whole army. Fungal lands, massive Fungal goes down. There's a Microbial Shroud as well. The Ultras diving through the Microbial Shroud. They're not even taking hits from the Immortals. Finally, the Immortals start shooting them, but they're in Microbial. The Ultras do not care. The Broodlord's clearing everything. I mean, this was already a good army for Rogue, but what a beautiful finish there with the Ultras jumping on top, the Broods landing the first wave of Broodlings, and you could tell even with the Microbial, it wasn't even necessary because the Immortals were actually shooting the Broodlings. Stalker's going after the Broodlords right now. One of the Ultras turns around and starts absolutely smashing those Stalkers. A few of these Broodlords are going down, but Ultra comes in, cleans those up. Who cares if you lose your Broodlords? If Protoss loses, absolutely everything. Mama tries to recall, but Mama not going home tonight. And the Corruptors and the Ultras should be able to finish this off. Ultra Corruptor Infestor is the big composition I've been excited to see try it out in late game. But of course, what's interesting is it wasn't really a full Ultra Corruptor Infestor. This was Broodlord Infestor Viper Classic, but then just a little bit of the Microbial Shroud Ultra added on top of that classic late game ZVP comp. Really well played by Rogue. Keep in mind the Broodlords do shoot faster on their initial blows, but realistically, I think Rogue just won this with spellcasting in a similar way to he could have won probably before the patch started as well. He unzips his fly, pees on Classic's Nexus on a few of his buildings, and even though those, of course, Archons and Immortals do kill some stuff, Rogue can pull home more Broods, he can make more Ultras, which is what he's making right now. He's got 8 Ultras, 3 more on the way. I imagine Classic does some sort of desperate counter push, as he's on 25 probes with almost no mining. Long distance mining the top of this map. And looks like this should be a nice cleanup for Rogue, which is really good for him to be able to win in a late game like this, because he didn't, number one, he didn't rush to late game. He didn't really abuse a timing. He just used the late game army a bit better than Classic. Now, to be fair, there was weakness for Rogue when he got out of position and lost all those bases, and those Hydras in the middle ran in and just got themselves killed, and he didn't have enough Corruptors, and all his Spores and Hatcheries started getting killed. Like, things, he definitely gave up position. But the fact that he fought back from that is always something you feel good about as a player, because things don't always go right in StarCraft. But as long as you keep your cool and get it together in the end, you can finish it off. Rogue showing his late game prowess and even a little touch of Microbial Shroud at the end of the game. GG, well played.